Section 8 will be the last section that we cover in Chapter 10. We're going to look at writing equations of circles. So we're mainly going to deal with this first objective here, just writing the equation, what that looks like. We won't really graph a circle on a coordinate plane, but we will solve some problems that deal with the equation of a circle. Okay, so going over to this slide, this is the equation of the circle. Okay, so a couple things to point out. Where does that actually come from? R obviously is going to stand for your radius. X and Y is a point on the circle. H and K represent the center. Okay, so X and Y are going to be part of the equation, but we will have a number that we put in for a radius and the center of our circle. And if you actually look up above, this is just your distance formula. And the reason that the equation of a circle comes from the distance formula is if I take a look over here, R is going to be our radius. The radius is always the same no matter where I draw it on my circle. The distance from the center to the edge of a circle is always going to be the same. So in that case, we're going to use the distance formula out of this, and this is what the distance formula looks like. The next part is plugging in some certain parts. We're saying that the distance out of this, since it is the same, is considered the radius. So we're going to substitute R in for our distance location. Still taking the big square root. X and Y is just a random point on the circle. You can see that's what they do here. X and Y is just a random point. And then H and K, which I said was the center, that if I find the distance between those 2 points, that should represent the radius of my circle. And then since we don't really want to deal with a big square root out of this, all they do from this step to this step is just square both sides. That's where the R squared comes from, and then the square root goes away. But this is the main idea that I need you to get right there, is that's how we write the equation of our circle. We're going to do a bunch of them. A whole bunch of them. I've got, in part A, the center is at 1, negative 8 with a radius of 7. So I'm going to rewrite our equation. X minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. And I'll take 2 steps to do this one. Okay, so I'm going to start with x is part of the equation. They don't tell me what the other point that I have. So we're going to say x minus 1, because that's the x coordinate of my center, plus y minus negative 8 squared equals 7 squared. And we can simplify this a little bit. We can change it up, make it look a little bit nicer. X minus 1 squared stays the same, but minus a negative becomes plus, so y plus 8 squared, and then 7 squared is 49. That's going to be the equation of our circle. We can also write an equation of a circle given a graph. So our center, I'm going to rewrite it, is 0, 4. And then I also need a radius. Remember, the radius is the distance from the center to a point. So just counting, 1, 2, 3, my radius is 3. And then we can write our equation. X minus the x coordinate of my center, which is 0, plus y minus 4, which is the y coordinate of my center, equals 3 squared. We can simplify. X minus 0 is just x, so I have x squared plus, can't simplify in here, equals 9. There's the equation. A couple more. If I say the center is at the origin is located at 0, 0. So that means I'm going to have x minus 0 squared plus y minus 0 squared equals, I'm going to put this in parentheses, the square root of 10 squared. Simplify, x minus 0 is just x squared plus y minus 0 is y squared equals, the square root and square disappear, leaving me with 10. Last one. This one gives me the center, but be careful, it gives me the diameter. Again, we want the radius. So the radius is half of the diameter. We want to use the value of 4 out of this one. So now we have x minus 4 squared. That's the x coordinate of my center up there. Plus y minus -1 squared equals my radius squared of 4 squared. Simplify, x minus 4 squared plus y plus 1 squared equals 16. And that would be your equation.